Hoffman stick. Here's Sanderson breaking in. Good job to sort of take away the pass there for Charlie Elick as it bounced off him. Now back out to center. Hoffman battles through ahead. Pinelli chips it back to Hoffman. He'll leave it Keskinen. Back to Pinelli. Pinelli weaving. Coming off a 4-point game. In behind the net. Captain of this Blue Jacket squad this week. Out to the center point. Richard spikes one just wide. Off the end boards. Columbus still in control. This is sent to Elick at the point. D-to-D. It's Richard on his forehand. Keskinen back towards Richard. And the Penguins take away, but stumbling on the outlet there. It's coughed up, and Elick sends it right back deep into the Penguin zone. Almost halfway through the first. 1-0 Columbus. Pittsburgh breaks out up the left side. Flung back towards Avery Hayes. Now Atley Calvert in the vicinity, but Kiersey takes away. Able to connect with Sima. Dropped off now for Bolton, and it's Avery for Columbus, but disjointed entry is offside, and that'll stop the clock with 10:31 left in the opening period. Well, big crowd last night for the Blue Jackets and Sabres. An exciting game. Impressive showing from Nolan Lalonde in net, who played half the first game for Columbus, as did Gardner. And then yesterday, Lalonde went the distance, facing nearly 50 shots on goal, giving his team a great chance to win, which they did, thanks to an outpouring of offense. And today, Gardner has seen 10 shots, made 10 saves. Bishop back to the defensive zone after the faceoff. And grab it behind the net. Avery Hayes took it away, centered the puck, and now this one deflects for Sima to poke forward, as it was nearly controlled by the Penguin defenseman, Pieni Niemi. Back behind the net, Daig, the goaltender. Up the left side, Avery for Columbus, tries to find Bolton. Former London Knight Ryder Bolton battling along the wall, but carried ahead now by Atley Calvert. Down the left wing side, Chromiak meets him in the corner. Now the puck taken away. Simas headmans to Avery. Avery forward. He'll flip it deep. Bolton on the forecheck. Now it's given away in the high slot. Dangerous play there. Griffin stuffs it in front, and it's just hoisted over the crossbar. As that was Bolton and Ryder Bolton in front of the net there. This is Griffin now back on his own blue line. Able to feed across to McDonald. Will give and go, gets it back, carries off the left circle, centers in front, and they score. It's Jack Williams crashing the net, and he's able to get just enough to put it past the glove of Daig. And it's 2-0 for Columbus, just over the midway mark of the first. Jack Williams with the finish there, his second goal of the tournament. Had a little rebound put back in the first game against New Jersey for a breakaway chance. The Biddeford, Maine's own Jack Williams, after a great college career at Northeastern, again signed late last season. Played a game for the Blue Jackets, expected to be in Cleveland this year. Excited to see what he can do, a well-rounded player. Here's Chromiak, right corner, feeds Griffin. This one bounces away. Penguins trying to settle a puck that's rattling a bit. Runick vacates. This one will be sent down the slot and into the corner. Shoved by McDonald as the puck carrier. Goes past Sharon and then in behind the net. Chromiak and Sharon cancel. There's Williams again. Chromiak up the middle. This is McDonald, the defenseman, feeding Griffin. Send it deep for Columbus. It's Pietila for the Penguins, sending it into a pile along the left boards. In behind the net again. Chase Pietila. Straight up to Graham at center. A big collision there as Elick backs into him. Those two cancel, and the puck loose to Guillaume Richard as the Penguins are changing. Forward to Hoffman. Deflects it deep. 8:20 to go in the first. 2-0. Goals from Sima and then Williams. Here's Bishop. Reverses that for Richard. He spun off a hit in the aftermath. Now it's Pieni Niemi left point. Down the boards. Off the kick plate and behind the net. Four players jostle. Richard, former Providence College Friar, comes away with it, starts the breakout, and now Pinelli to Keskinen on the left wing. Keskinen in the slot, and that puck tipped away, but the Blue Jackets trying to regain possession. Keskinen takes a shot in the back of the head there from Renwick, and that'll be a penalty, and Keskinen takes a moment to collect himself there. Clear head contact, and it'll be a power play for the Blue Jackets, their first of the game. So Renwick takes a seat at 12 minutes and 12 seconds here of this first period. High sticking the call. Faceoff's going to come inside the Pittsburgh zone as Columbus a chance to extend the lead here. So again, Nolan Renwick, Saskatchewan zone, former Maine Black Bear, played a little bit with Wilkes-Barre Scranton last season in the American League. Off for high sticking. Clearance immediately for the penalty-killing Penguins. Back it comes behind the net as Gardner puts it on a tee for Guillaume Richard. He'll swing up ice. Richard leaves it at center. Keskinen towards Williams through his legs, and now it's stuffed by Griffin to Williams again. Sends it off the dasher in front of the Penguins bench. Now it's sloughed back to the corner, cleared up to the line, not past it. Held in Richard. Keskinen in the corner, back to Guillaume Richard. Now it's Griffin. Center blue, Richard. It's Pinelli turning and firing off that left circle, and that one blocked. Back to Pinelli now near the blue line. Go down the boards for Williams, gives it back to Pinelli on his forehand. Works towards the net. Rink-wide pass, sniffed out, knocked down, and cleared by Pittsburgh. And so we've got a minute 10 remaining on the power play for Columbus. They're first with the Jackets leading 2-0. Just over the 13-minute mark of frame one. Sent back to Sima, who began the scoring. Then Mosley up the left side, Hoffman, back to Rylan Mosley. Around to Charlie Elick. Elick at the right point. Center blue, Kiersey, long shot. Daig, the goaltender for Pittsburgh, knocked it down. This is Sima now. Back out to the blue line, Mosley holds the zone. Here's Elick. Long shot, deflects off a Penguin stick. And again, a clearance here, down to 30 seconds left on the power play for Columbus. Second unit remains on the ice. This is Kiersey now. Slides back for Mosley, now finds Sima. Elick across the line. Back to Sima. Mosley lunges for a puck, tries to direct it towards the net, able to be held in by Kiersey. Elick again, he'll fire. That one to the back door and slipped back out for Mosley. Elick one more time, shoots one, and the save by Daig careens all the way to the neutral zone, and that should just about do it on the penalty to Renwick, as it is back to full and even strength. 1-for-1 on the kill for the Penguins. 5:38 left in the opening period. 2-0 lead for Columbus on Pittsburgh. Trying to step through traffic there. Kindle knocked down, and it's going to be good enough to draw a penalty here. It's from behind the net, Avery Hayes scoops one out to the right point. Net empty, extra attacker on. Delayed call coming against the Jackets. Here's Brady Peddle, center point for Pittsburgh. Broz cross to the right circle. Sharp angle shot stopped by Gardner. Still loose in front. Finally, the Jackets touch. And that will stop the clock again. 5:13 left in the first. And the penalty going to Charlie Elick here. This will be back to the power play. Tripping the call. 0-for-1 with the extra man for the Penguins in the game. Try to make it 1-for-2. Well, these players, so many of them that participate in this event or events like these, it's just such a wonderful opportunity to prepare yourself for NHL training camp, which is coming up just in a matter of days for really the entire league. And so for the Blue Jackets here, what better way to get yourself ready than to play in a couple of games and be able to put your best foot forward when you get to Columbus for camp. Here's Richard, the right corner. Forced towards Mosley. Shows some support with Kindle, heaving that one up and out of the zone. And now Williams streaks in. Short-handed chance for the Blue Jackets to the backhand. And he sent that one just wide. Tracks it down on the end boards. Comes back to center. This is Caleb McDonald. Rink wide for Richard. Minute and a half to go on the Elick trip. 2-0 Columbus. Long feet ahead. Here's Oiva Keskinen. His offhand down the wall. Sends it right back out to Richard on his own line. Richard towards Keskinen again. This one poked by Pieni Niemi, his countryman, past Keskinen. Back to McDonald. Now the Penguins try to set up shop here in the offensive zone. Klassen at the left point. Rink wide feed, comes back center blue, Pieni Niemi. Klassen to the slot. Through a crowd. Now it comes again to Pieni-Niemi at the line. Klassen watched closely by Richard. Keskinen got a piece of that feed, tracks it down and clears. Nice play by Oiva Keskinen. And with less than 4 minutes to go in the period, he'll send it the distance. 38 seconds left on the Elick trip. 2-0 Jackets. Brunick at center. Leaves it. Thrown to Klassen. Gains the line. This is Miller. Miller turns against the wall. Kiersey against the grain. Couldn't clear it. He and Miller jostling in a 6-man scrum. And finally the puck skips over the stick of Brunick on the left point. Back it rolls to the Penguin zone. 15 seconds before Elick can rejoin. Gesturing to his head coach Trent Vogelhuber whether he wants him on the ice or headed for the bench. One last chance in the power play here. Brunick takes it down the right wing boards, comes right in front. Gardner a save, and then a blocked shot right at the front of the top of the crease rather for Chromiak. Through a crowd, a shot came in and Gardner in good position. Elick is going to be able to scrape this down ice. Icing washed out, back to full and even strength. 2 for 2 on the kill for Columbus. Now they look for more offense here in the final 3 minutes of the first. Shots are 14-8 favor of the Penguins, but Columbus in front by a pair. Ahead it comes into the offensive zone for the Penguins. Off to Brady Peddle. Long shot handled by Gardner. Into the corner, McDonald scrapes it against the end boards. Ryder Bolton skies it out to center. Skating into it here is Avery. On his forehand down the left wing side. Behind the net, met by a pair of Penguins. Up the left side, kicked Sanderson. Bishop tries to find Griffin. Taken away by Pittsburgh. This will be thrown deep by Sharon. And behind the net, this is Caleb McDonald. Striding out to center. One-man breakout to the offensive blue line. And again, he gets it deep. 2 minutes left. First period. Game 3 of 3 for the Jackets at this year's Prospects Challenge in Buffalo. Here's Lach. Off to his right. Gets it back. And ahead, this dumped in by Avery Hayes, or touched in deep. Round for Guillaume Richard to find Keskinen. Richard in a crowd. Locates his D partner Charlie Elick. Elick all the way out to Sima. Creeps his way into the offensive zone, but in an offside manner. And so the whistle will stop time and bring a face-off with 96 seconds left in this first period. Out to center. Well, stay with us in the intermission as we'll be back with you for second period action here from KeyBank Rink after a short break. But just want to say a quick thank you to all the fine folks here in Buffalo at Lecom Harbor Center and with the Sabres for hosting another great event this year. It means a lot to all these young players to have a chance, as we mentioned, to get into some serious games against serious competition ahead of camp. And events like this let you know hockey season is all the way back, folks. Isn't it a beautiful thing? Pass ahead to Bishop here. Not taken away. Fed rink wide. Now scraped towards Gardner. Gets a piece of it. Pushed by Bishop off the right wall. Sima scoops it ahead, but now it'll be pushed by not Avery Hayes, but the other Hayes. Travis Hayes on this Penguins roster. Now Keskinen is, the Penguins has lost his helmet here. Feeds across ice. Bishop tries to ratchet it deep. We've got 1 minute left in this first period. Jackets looking to push their 2-0 lead even further here. Making changes as we speak. Mosley watching the Pittsburgh defenseman behind the net. Williams, Mosley out there with Tyler Peddle. It's McDonald and Chromiak on defense for now. Skipped ahead towards Sharon, but taken away by Mosley after a deflection. 35 seconds to go in the period. Rink wide, it's Peddle. Brady Peddle, hit by his brother Tyler. How about that? Around the end boards. Up the left side now. And back behind the net. Williams took a shot. This one now Mosley angles off glass. 16 seconds to go. Pittsburgh plays it down deep in the offensive zone. McDonald staples his man along the far boards. Able to be picked up eventually by McDonald. He'll find Mosley. He'll try to pin it up. Just seconds to go. And they're ticking away now. The horn sounds and the first period is complete. So Columbus, thanks to goals from Jackets in their Union blue numerals, or uniforms rather, with those white numerals trimmed in red right to left, against the Penguins wearing white. They're left to right in the second period. From Buffalo, the puck down, and we're underway. The middle frame, as this is Pietila dumping it in for the Penguins, and we've got an immediate whistle here. And we will wait to see. Looks like the draw comes out of the zone, perhaps offside. 19:53 left. We've played 7 seconds of the second period. Again, if you missed the big news this morning, Jackets fans, Ivan Fedotov acquired in exchange for a 6th-round draft pick next season by the Blue Jackets from Philadelphia. And his big news in Columbus, of course, a gigantic netminder at 6'7", 214 pounds, 28-year-old, with 29 games of NHL service time, but 133 games over parts of 7 years in Russia in the KHL. Off this face-off, Penguins in control. Long shot from the center point, stopped by Gardner, the rebound rattling, and it rolls back out to the left side. Able to be held in. Penny Niemi gets it back along that left point. Off to Tristan Broz, shoved down by Elick there. Back to Penny Niemi, and he rings it off that left post, and it's loose in front, and on the rebound, the Penguins have scored. Play broke down after that shot from Penny Niemi went off the inside of the left post and came straight back out into the slot. And making no mistake there, first through the line, celebrating a goal that puts the Penguins on the board. It's last year a Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguin in Avery Hayes. So he scores here at 33 seconds of the second period. And the lead for Columbus is cut in half. It's 2-1. Right back to that Keskinen line for Trent Vogelhuber. Of course, the teams in this particular event coached by the organization's American Hockey League staffs. Great to see Trent and his associate coach Chris Bergeron joined by Stéphane Matteau, brand new assistant coach for the Cleveland Monsters in the AHL this year, as he just retired, served as the captain for Cleveland last year, and immediately right back in the dressing room, this time starting a new chapter of his career. So the score 2-1, as the Penguins have some momentum and a goal to begin the period. This one swept out. Pietila fires. Gardner with a pad save on that shot along the ice, but whistle goes. And that'll stop time, and patting his sternum there is the referee. A quick whistle there. He thought Gardner had the puck. He did not. So Avery Hayes with the goal, 33 seconds in to the second period. Kindle with the primary assist. And in fact, the lone assist on the goal. Draw to the left now of Evan Gardner. We're back to it. Swept towards the corner. Big scrum there along the left wing hash mark. Avery has this one peeled away from him. Held in left point, another long shot. Gardner got a piece and then lost his goal stick as he locates that puck to his left. And that will spark some pushing and shoving in the wake of the play. In fact, quite a bit of it. We've got 3 officials involved trying to peel the players apart. And it looks like some penalties will result from this exchange, if not an actual fight. Penny Niemi, he's got Avery, and everybody's trying to separate the players, in terms of the officials at least. Sharon has lost his helmet. And we'll see what the penalty situation looks like. It's like offsetting penalties here. Bishop's going to go. Sharon as well. So 4-on-4 perhaps. It's Pinelli, again a captain for a couple of seasons at the end of his OHL career in Ottawa, wearing the C in this tournament again. Leading literally and figuratively with his production. Big game against Buffalo with 4 points for him. He has been the go-to guy offensively. And, you know, in his first couple of games as a pro at the end of last season and then on into the Calder Cup playoffs for Cleveland, just outstanding. Luca Pinelli, a guy that I think the Monsters will be leaning on in terms of production throughout this season. His first full campaign as a pro. And we're going to have a power play here for Columbus. As getting an additional 2 minutes here is Max Graham. So instead of 4-on-4, instead a 5-on-4 power play, and for the Blue Jackets, it is their second of the game. They're 0 for 1. 2-1 Columbus, the score. Early stages, frame 2. Draw one back, right point. Richard, rink wide, Pinelli. The high slot, Williams, back to Richard. Griffin gives it to Richard once more. Guillaume Richard thinking about it, feeds Pinelli. He'll shoot. Daig was screened, but then puck careens off and into the corner. This is Oiva Keskinen trying to find Griffin, but taken away by the Penguins. Instead of clearing, it's headman from Brady Peddle to Avery Hayes. He'll head all the way down behind the net where Pinelli able to locate the puck 2 minutes into the frame. Pinelli swoops up ice, hits the line. Now Keskinen on the left wing. Turns off contact, feeds Williams at the point. Moving to his right, hands off for Guillaume Richard. Strides in, drags, feeds Pinelli. Wheels back, thought about handing off to Richard. Instead, holds onto the puck. Dropped it off for Williams, but it was swept away. And now headman to Atley Calvert, that close to a breakaway feed. Out of his net there is Gardner. I think he was thinking about playing the puck in the restricted area, but there are no lines below the goal line to indicate that trapezoid here. So he was able to make contact with the puck. Sent all the way back down. Gardner gets to it, hands off Guillaume Richard. Still 46 seconds left on the Columbus power play. Sima started the scoring, feeds it to Mosley, hands off Pinelli. Touch back to center, Pinelli, last man back, locates it, the center circle, turns up the wall, onto the stick of Nick Sima. Now bouncing over a couple of sticks, here's Hoffman. We've got a whistle on his entry into the zone, bringing the faceoff to center. 27 seconds to go at the man advantage here. Rylan Mosley, strong game yesterday. Another AHL contracted player for this year. He's on the left side of Hoffman with Sima on the right side. And of course, Sima began the scoring back in the opening period for Columbus. Hoffman tried to pull it back. Ooh, and then Kiersey gets hit with a high stick there inadvertently, but headed towards the bench for a moment. He'll stay on. No penalty. In the middle of the ice, this played to Hayes, and the shorthanded Penguins fire on net from center ice. Blockered away by Gardner. Careens up over the glass and out. Evan Gardner, a couple of seasons with Saskatoon. Last year in the WHL, 44 appearances, 23-13-5. 911 save percentage, 282 goals against. That one American League appearance. A returning goaltender at this particular event from last year to this year. Second round draft choice. Exciting to see him play so well today and throughout the tournament. Shot came in off the outside of that right post in the net. And now it'll be forced ahead to Rylan Mosley, trying to drive towards the cage. Into the end wall, Sima centers, loose puck in the crease, and Daig eventually locates it, and the whistle goes. It's the puck well after the whistle blew, creeps across the line, but Penguins defenseman trying to clear out the commotion in the crease. And the linesman separating Graham and Hoffman there. Columbus going to make some changes. Bishop released from the Blue Jackets penalty box, and the penalty is over. 16:30 left in this second period. Still 2-1, Jackets in front. Wholesale change for Columbus here, so both teams now 2 for 2 in the kill, 0 for 2 with the extra man. This is Van Gorp, able to win this draw, slides it back for the Jackets to Chromiak. His shot blocked away, now thrown forward out of Sharon's reach. Kayla McDonald back to meet him in the corner. Puck forced against the end wall. McDonald looms, trying to pry it loose as the puck loses momentum. That'll be Van Gorp to grab it. Slides it ahead, bounces in the air. He tracks it down again. This is Tyler Peddle. Peddle left it behind. McDonald onside, feeds it towards the net. Van Gorp centers. Quick release for Bolton, and that one blocked. Ryder Bolton taps it back down into the corner. And we've got a fight. Wow, couple of hard left hands here from Tyler Peddle connecting. That's Beauchesne, I believe, for the Penguins. And Peddle grabs the jersey. He's got it completely off, and a devastating left cross there from Peddle at the end. So Tyler Peddle takes the decision in a spirited bout. And that's got the Jackets bench fired up. Tyler Peddle, impressive. He's headed to Charlottetown this season, the Quebec League, after a couple of years with St. John. He was with Cleveland, but did not appear in a game towards the end of the season. But certainly a big guy willing to do whatever he needs to do, and we just saw it right there. He's got some skill in the ring as well. And Beauchene for Pittsburgh went right down the tunnel. Quinn Beauchene, Ottawa's own. Played his OHL hockey in Guelph for the Storm. We'll see if we'll have any additional penalties beyond the fighting majors or not, as the captains are talking it over with the officials. Injected some life here into terms of the fans after that fight, and certainly on the Columbus bench too, as Ryder Bolton congratulates Tyler Peddle on a fight well fought. You know, it's worth remembering, events like this are a great showcase for players in all different situations in their career to, you know, grab the attention of their organizations. And so you often do see a fair amount of physical play and fights in events like these, and we've seen it throughout this week. Referees now conversing with both head coaches. Trent Vogelhuber receiving an audience right now. Nothing on the board in terms of additional penalties beyond the fighting majors, at least not yet. Check the shots here. Big advantage for Pittsburgh, 21-10. But Columbus up 2-1 on the scoreboard, although the Penguins have the game's most recent goal. Looks like it'll stay 5-on-5. So Elick and Richard are out there with Keskin and Pinelli. And now Avery rather than Griffin. One back, Avery touches it. Out of the reach of Pinelli, we're back live. Elick sends it around the end boards. Just over 4 minutes into frame 2. Avery streaks across the zone, spins away from a hit. This will be Pinelli now. And it's sent back to the Columbus zone. Racing is Charlie Elick. Finds Richard. Ahead to Keskinen. Oh, a game misconduct for illegal equipment to Beauchene. I guess the fight strap was not secured there, as we saw with the jersey coming up and over his helmet and off of him there. So a game misconduct in addition to the fighting majors. So down to 5D are the Penguins. Pinelli feeds it back to Elick. Elick finds Pinelli again. Pinelli enters the zone on his forehand. Tries to dice his way past the defenseman. Puck lost in the corner. Penguins counter. This is Tristan Broz. At the red line. Filters deep. Backing up. The defenseman Kiersey takes the feed from his netminder Gardner. Up ice, it's Griffin. Griffin fires along the ice. Daig the save at the stick, and he'll cover. 14:39 to go in this middle frame. So interesting. You don't see that every day. The illegal equipment game misconduct. But again, a great bout there. Good size matchup. Another face-off on the right side. Tyler Peddle, though, the decisive victory. Don't need the scorecards for that one. It's a TKO. Griffin in the slot. This will be Jack Williams on the draw. He's got the second of Columbus's 2 goals in the game. Pass ahead to center. Carried into the offensive zone by the Penguins without possession. Miller chases. Williams pins it to the end boards, shuttles it up the left side. Out near the line, Brunick holds it in. Now cycled down into the corner. Oh, and a penalty taken here by the Blue Jackets, as it was Hayes kind of held on to along the wall, and Bishop groans as he's assessed the penalty for holding. It'll be a power play for the Penguins, a chance to tie the game, their 3rd extra man chance of the contest. 20 saves for Gardner, 9 for Daig, in net for Pittsburgh. They'll go Atley Calvert, Tristan Broz, Pieni Niemi, Kindle on this power play for Pittsburgh. And Avery Hayes in the slot. Holding to Bishop at 5:43. Off the face-off. Nearly put his hand on the puck there, did the centerman for Pittsburgh. Pieni-Niemi across. Left point Kindle gets it down near the goal line. Turning, Avery Hayes fires and scores, and this game is tied at 2. It's a power play goal for Avery Hayes, curling out of the left circle, his second of the game. We're all square in Buffalo. Able to find a little daylight there, so a costly penalty taken. Time of the goal, 5:55. This second period, Hayes second of the game. Impressive finish. 1 for 3 on the power play for Pittsburgh. So the Jackets look to bounce back. A 2-0 game, now 2-2. And the shots 2-1 in ratio, 20-11 in actuality. Penguins in front there. Off the face-off, bounced in off a stanchion, took a wild hop through the Columbus slot. Now it's back towards Keskinen, fed to Pietila, winds up, fires, and a save made near that left post by Gardner. Rebound rattling in the corner. Across the 6-minute mark here of the second period. 2-2 the score. Here's Pinelli trying to force it up to the neutral zone. Kindle turns and distributes back around the end boards. Sima chips it for Keskinen into the offensive zone. Hits the line, followed by Pinelli. Hands off, filters a feed intended for Sima. So we've seen 3 different players, most recently, currently, Sima, but before that, Griffin and Avery, all trying to fill in there for Dumais, who was alongside Pinelli and Keskinen in warm-ups, but did not take a shift in the first period or to this point at all, and he's not going to. All the way down ice. It'll be icing against the Penguins. Touched up by Elick. Face off back to the Pittsburgh zone. So Avery Hayes, who spent last season with the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins as a key part of that team with both goals here. Last year, 23 goals, 42 points in 60 appearances for Wilkes. And he is going to be headed back there this season in all likelihood. The Atlantic Division of the American Hockey League. Face off, one back to that left corner. Sent up to the line, not quite out. Chromiak held it in. Behind the net, it's Griffin. Griffin now up the wall. Finds McDonald, left point. Shovels back behind the cage. Williams reach for it. Griffin likewise. Penguins push it up to center. Taken now by Ryland Mosley. Flings it rink wide. Williams tracks it down for Columbus into the slot, looking to return it to Mosley. Puck hopped away from him. Now out at center. Mosley forces his way, bullying his way inside the zone, but the puck eludes him. Cross to Lotch for the Penguins. Feed it back towards his defensive partner. Now they're swept ahead. Here's Sharon into the Columbus zone. Backing up, McDonald. Tried to throw his body against the glass and get in the way there, and did. Now it's Van Gorp, burst to speed, left circle, shoots, and that one high. Grabbed by Griffin. Shovels it back to Van Gorp behind the net in the Penguin zone. To the right corner, that's Ryder Bolton. Losing his footing, regaining it. Puck sent across the ice. Ooh, Kiersey hauled down as he tried to locate that puck. No penalty, sure could have been. Bolton challenges, and now we're going to have a fight just as a... Oh boy, and this one's over before it starts as Graham still taking some swipes there from Ryder Bolton as the two tumbled to the ice immediately. It's a shame there was a scoring chance underway there when the issue was forced, not by Bolton, but Graham. And so I think, I'm not sure whether a punch was really landed by either player. Just one ended as quickly as it started, but we'll see if they call it roughing minors or fighting majors. If it is a fighting major for Bolton, it'll be a second of the tournament. As the parade of players on both sides shuttling the equipment back where it needs to be in the penalty boxes. Ongoing now. 11:49 to go in the second. Midway through this third of 3 games at the 2025 Prospects Challenge for the Blue Jackets. 1-1. Entering today's contest, which is currently tied at 2. On the other side, this is Pittsburgh's second game. They were able to pick up a 2-1 win thanks to a late goal against the Boston Bruins on Friday. And now some conversation between the officials and the benches, and we'll sort it all out. Face-off appears to be coming back into the Penguin zone, given the placement of that exchange between Bolton and Graham. Day getting the goaltender for Pittsburgh, getting the blood flowing with a little vertical leap there in net. Whatever it takes, stay engaged. This is Keskinen on the draw. Pulled back by the Penguins, Harrison Brunick. Able to pick it up, slides it off the left wall. Stick slashed out of the hands of Bishop. He'll retrieve it. On the Penguin line, Pittsburgh controls. They'll slide it forward. Kiersey tried to take it away from Sanderson. Those two fall on top of one another down in the deep in the Columbus zone. Bishop pins up his man. Puck still loose. Turning. This one offered from a sharp angle. Gardner thought he had it and didn't. That one offered the big hit in the opposite corner off the stick of Braden Edwards. Now this is Brunick reaching for a puck at the right point as it bounces out of play, and we'll have a stoppage, a face-off coming out to the neutral zone. 11:13 to go in the second period. So up next for these players, NHL training camp. And of course the preseason schedule will be underway before long as well. In fact, a week from today it starts as the Jackets will be home for St. Louis on the 21st. 5 p.m. game there, and they'll actually play preseason games on 4 consecutive days. Monday the 22nd, home for Buffalo, at Buffalo the 23rd, home for Pittsburgh the 24th. As Gardner slides to his right, make a stop there and a puck along the ice. Up the wall for Griffin, helped ahead. Lunging was Williams, but instead passed through Mosley and intercepted at center. This is Owen Griffin into the zone. Throws it below the goal line. Mosley back to challenge the Pittsburgh defense there, and he wins that battle. As the puck skims away from Williams, Elick will race to his own zone. Capture for the Jackets. Charlie Elick. Hands off for Guillaume Richard. Miller pins him to the boards. Gardner watching from that left post. 4 players still fighting for possession here. Battle ongoing. Richard kind of awkwardly stepped out of that pile with a grimace, but appears to be okay. This will be thrown up the wall. Broz left point, slides it past Miller. Deflects past Travis Hayes. What a reverse hit there from Charlie Elick. He just slipped right underneath the Penguins forward. And now a penalty at center, as it'll be Pietla heading for the box. Interference against Ryland Mosley. But Charlie Elick with a textbook reverse hit on the end boards moments prior. And now Columbus, thanks to Mosley drawing the call. And Pietla getting in his way without the puck present. Now the Blue Jackets will head for the power play and a chance to regain the lead halfway through today's game. Chase Pietla to the box for interference. Power play number 3 for the Blue Jackets. They're 0 for 2. Williams will take the draw. Keskinen in the slot. Griffin to the right. Luca Pinelli and Richard at the point. Here's Pinelli with a hard shot there, but seen right away by Daig, who makes the save and holds on. We'll have another face-off in the offensive zone. Richard, the left-handed shooter, kind of quarterbacking this power play. He's on his offhand, Pinelli on his forehand. On that left point. And Keskinen try to pull it back towards Luca Pinelli. This one won by Kindle and Pittsburgh to the end boards, but Keskinen quickly forces a turnover. Oh, and then a bad hit from behind into the end wall. And another penalty is coming up here. And now all the players converge. Hopefully Keskinen's okay. He took that high stick back in the first period, and now here a hard hit along the end wall. Definitely headed to the box is Pittsburgh's Harrison Brunick for the hit. Hails from Johannesburg, South Africa, does Brunick. But that was one of those hits I bet you he regrets, just given its placement on the ice. They'll call it cross-checking. And that creates a 5-on-3 power play for Columbus here. An extended 2-man advantage for 1 minute and 48 seconds. And as only 12 seconds had come off the initial penalty to Chase Pietla. Interesting to see the lineup today for Pittsburgh. No Owen Pickering, who, of course, is a first-round pick back in 2022 by the Penguins. Got some NHL games last year. No Ville Koivunen today, who was outstanding in the AHL and got extended opportunities up top with Pittsburgh as well. Member of the AHL's all-rookie team last year. So some of the big names on this roster not playing today for the Penguins. Two-man advantage for Columbus, looking for the lead again. Keskinen to Pinelli. Back to Keskinen at the doorstep, now behind the net. Slides it towards Griffin. Back out center point, Richard. To the right, it's Pinelli. Wants it, takes the one-timer, and that one stopped by Daig. Right back to Luca Pinelli. Minute 24 left in the 5-on-3. Near the net. Keskinen across. Griffin fires and scores. Great find by Oiva Keskinen. But credit to Owen Griffin on the finish, and a power play goal makes it 3-2 Columbus. Patient look there. Cross the net mouth from the goal line. It was Koivunen finding Griffin, who didn't miss. So the time of the goal, 10:34 of the second period. Griffin on the power play from Keskinen, 3-2 Jackets. It's been fun to watch Oiva Keskinen play this week. A player heard a lot about, hadn't seen him yet. Great numbers over in his native Finland in Liga play last year. Big producer. He has so much talent. Off this face-off with the lead, Columbus wants more. Power play goal for Griffin, now a 5-on-4 advantage. Towards the net again, this is Keskinen. Back into the corner, Keskinen. Off to Griffin at the line, it's Richard. Twists away from Calvert. Down the right wing, Griffin towards the net. This one skims off the glass. Keskinen back towards Griffin, right half boards. Now it's Pinelli taking the feed from Richard. Slips past a man, that was Renwick. Griffin back to Richard. He and Pinelli swap spots. Richard finds Pinelli. One-time release. Thunders off the end wall there, wide. Back out to the point. Pinelli holds the zone. Moving to his right, pulls up center point. Now it's Griffin. To the net front, Keskinen. Left corner, rather. Off the boards, Griffin. Back out to Pinelli. Pinelli to Richard and back again. Pinelli towards Griffin. Turns against the wall. Support from Jack Williams here keeps the play alive for the Blue Jackets. Keskinen in the slot. This is Pinelli. Rifles one wide. That one off the glass. Forced back to that left corner where it's settled by Pinelli one more time. 14 seconds left in the power play. Jackets want another. This is Griffin. He'll fire. That's a blocker save for Daig. And as the penalty expires, it's stuffed up and out of the zone. Stepping back onto the ice here is Brunick. So Columbus now 1 for 4 on the power play, with the goal coming with the man advantage courtesy of Griffin that delivers another lead to the Jackets. Once 2-0 for Columbus, now 3-2. Pittsburgh looking to spend some time in the Jacket zone. Sharp angle shot there for Kindle, stopped by Gardner as he moved to his left and was able to smother it. The face-off coming up inside the Jacket zone. 7:33 left in the second period. Again, it's 3-2 Columbus. 15 shots on net for the Jackets in the game. They had 9 in the opening period, so just 6 so far in the second, to 11 in this period for Pittsburgh. Draw one back to Lodge. He'll look through traffic and fire. Leaping, trying to get out of the way there was the forward. That was Hayes, and he is in some pain as he motors after that puck hit him back to the neutral zone. Travis Hayes chasing. Hoffman for Columbus. Pushes him into the end boards. Here's Caleb McDonald. Played his college hockey at North Dakota. This one thrown out to center. And now taken by Kindle. He'll accelerate. Little twisting centering feed. Sniffed out there by the defenseman McDonald. Nice play. And the long pass ahead will not be icing. Could have been, but the puck lost some momentum as it approached the goal line. Hard hit by Sima there in the corner. Now met with Van Gorp trying to take it away from the Penguins' defense. And they're successful in that pursuit as Avery closes in. Brunick shovels to center. McDonald turns. Being challenged by Sharon. Those two wildly bounce off the boards. Puck loose to be headman to Sima. And even further, this is Avery, but rolls out of his reach there with 6.5 to go in the period. Up the wall. We got another penalty here. High sticking is the indication. see specifically who's guilty. Looks like the Penguins are going right back to the box, and as Graham and Bolton are released after their fight, it's Brunick taking his now familiar seat in the penalty box, at least in this game. So this will be PK 5 for the Penguins. Jackets looking to make it 2 for 5 on the power play. They've got a 3-2 lead. So high sticking to Brunick. And the power play right back out to work here as Keskinen will line up in the slot. The captain, Luca Pinelli, is organizing his teammates here. Williams going to take the draw. Richard with Pinelli on the blue line. Check that. Pinelli heads down the half wall, and Griffin will line up atop the slot. One back by the Penguins into the corner and cleared quickly. Back goes Guillaume Richard. Gardner leaves it for him with 6:15 left. And Richard accelerates to begin the breakout. Up the left side, Keskinen through center, hands to Pinelli. Stuffs back behind him, left point Richard. Back to Griffin, Richard takes it again, feeds Pinelli. He'll shoot through traffic, stick saved by Daig. Off into the corner as Keskinen locates the puck, swivels behind the net. And this one sent by Pittsburgh's Pedal all the way down ice. Each team has a Pedal brother in this game. Back behind the net, this is Guillaume Richard, honored with one of the letters in this tournament, wearing an assistant's A, as is Jack Williams, who he fed on that trip through center. But the entry spoiled and the clearance for the Penguins, and back goes Gardner in the corner to get in the way of this puck. Waits out Kindle's pressure. Able to connect is the goaltender Gardner with Pinelli. He'll head into the O-zone with just under a minute left in the power play. Pinelli off to the corner, scrapes it around the perimeter. Waiting here is Hoffman. Hoffman forces back down behind the goal line, or tried to. Turning Sima off Pinelli's stick. Kiersey center point. Ooh, whiffed on that pass intended there for Pinelli, but the Jackets recover at center with 35 seconds left and the man up. Cross to Kiersey. Swivels up ice, gains the line. Followed by Hoffman here as the second power play unit gets a chance. This one spoiled to center for Elick. Back goes Kiersey. Up ahead, leaves the puck for Mosley in the neutral zone. Rylan Mosley. Off to Elick, got it back along the boards. Elick at the point. This one fired towards the net and blocked, cleared by the Penguins. That'll do it on the penalty to Brunick as Evan Gardner bangs his stick, signaling the end of the power play. So it's a 1 for 5 mark with the extra skater in the game so far for Columbus, with the score 3-2 for the Jackets here. Shot from the left side of the zone, wide of Gardner. Back out to the point. And in fact, over the line to center. Dumped in. Pieni Niemi had to get out of the way of that. And back it comes to Kiersey. Cross for Elick. It's a curling Van Gorp for the Blue Jackets. Makes his way through center. Avery sandwiched in between a couple of Penguins, including Graham. Now free to Tyler Peddle. Chips chases after it. Brunick into the corner. Peddle begs off. Van Gorp was following too. Now the puck grabbed by the Penguins. We'll slide it ahead. This is Sharon. McDonald all over it. Able to neutralize the entry. Comes back to center. Down to 3:35 left in the second period. Nice feed by Brunick, and Broz lifts that one up and over the net. Off the glass, Jakub Kromiak takes a hard hit to the head there in the corner, but play continues. And now, answering for that is the player that applied the hit, Graham, and he's in a fight right now. I'm trying to see who, oh, it's Ryder Bolton. No surprise, his second of the game, and Bolton with some overhand rights finishes that exchange emphatically. So Ryder Bolton to the box, and he gestures to the Penguins bench with a warning that he's got plenty more left in the tank. A couple of good scraps in this game today. So we'll sort this situation out. Again, there was no initial penalty on the hit on Kromiak, but as he was sort of falling forward onto the ice, he caught a sort of a shot to the back of the helmet, and that's what Bolton was responding to. So the Fighting Majors leave the manpower situation even up. Columbus again with a 3-2 lead for the time being, 3:24. What remains in the second period. Faceoff's going to, I believe, stay inside the Columbus zone. Still a big gap in terms of shots on net in this game. 26 for the Penguins, 16 for the Jackets. But a 3-2 Columbus lead. Faceoff will come to Gardner's left, and looks like Bolton snagged the instigator, so a power play here. As Van Gorp congratulating Bolton in the penalty box there, creating a power play and a chance to tie the game late in the period. So a big kill here for Columbus as Bolton gets the instigator in addition to the fighting major, and it's a 5-on-4 power play. They're fourth for the Penguins. They're 1 for 3. And now we've got a sort of a false start on the face-off that's going to require an adjustment to the clock, perhaps. And the players back and ready to go. Hoffman on the draw against Atley Calvert. One back by Pittsburgh. Pieni Niemi, center blue, cross left point, gets it back now. Down to the base, that left circle, spinning look from Avery Hayes there. And through the slot as Broz sends it back out to the blue line. Pieni Niemi to the right point, that's where Tristan Broz takes over. Feeds it to Hayes. Hayes into the corner. Calvert back to Hayes. Avery Hayes twirling at the blue line. Down towards Broz. This one pops over the glass and out. That'll stop the clock. 2:52 left in the second period. Just a little bit more pushing and shoving after the whistle there. Most recent goal on the power play at 9:23 of the period for Owen Griffin. Goals as well for Williams and Sima in this game. And on the other side, it's Avery Hayes with both tallies for the Penguins. 3-2 Columbus, and power play ongoing for Pittsburgh. Nice clearance here after a face-off win. Mosley working hard, gets there first with that puck all the way back in the Penguin zone. That's one thing about Ryland Mosley. He's going as hard as he can go all the time. A real worker bee this week, and just excited to see what he can do with a full season at the American League level. Got a few games in last year with Cleveland, but on an AHL contract. He knows where he's going to be this year, and I think excited for his first full pro campaign. Sure seems so. Around the wall, Calvert run into against the boards. Got 4 players fighting for it. This is now Elick pounding one off the glass and out. 48 seconds left in the kill. It's over 2 minutes to go in the period. Behind the Penguins' net. This will be lugged up by Pieni Niemi. Travis Hayes wants a feed. Instead, Klassen had that puck kind of roll into his skates and creates a disjointed entry, resulting in an offside call. So just under 2 minutes left in the period. Again, remember, we'll take a break for the intermission, but come on back for third period action. And it'll be the final period of this Prospects Challenge for Columbus. As again, they're looking to emerge with a winning record here after a tough first game against New Jersey, an 8-2 final score. Big bounce back win last night. But remember, I mean, practice time is so difficult to come by in advance of events like this as Columbus clears. So there's just not a lot of time for these coaching staffs to get these particular groups of players organized and together. So I think it's really promising to see that as these 3 games have proceeded, the Blue Jackets have come into their own. Working down low, a centering pass there, deflects in front of Gardner, and a great save. He kept that left pad along the ice and was able to deny an in-tight chance, and he'll cover up 2. Just under 90 seconds left in the period. 26 saves now for Evan Gardner in the game. He has been real rock solid. 4 seconds left on the power play. As Van Gorp will be released, Bolton has to stay put at the conclusion of that instigator minor. Draw to the left of Gardner, swept into the corner, controlled by Guillaume Richard, skies it down ice. Dig pounding his stick on the ice, signaling the end of the power play. So another successful kill for Columbus. Now 3 for 4 in that department. Final minute, second period. 3-2 Jackets. Puck into the corner. and behind the Columbus net. And on to the back of the Columbus net as it's now whistled down as that puck stayed put. Gardner will have another face-off to his left coming up here. Changes here for Columbus for this perhaps final shift of the period. Bishop, Kiersey come on defensively. Joining Williams, who's been consistently productive, and Pinelli, who's been extremely productive. Also joined by Griffin on this new-look trio. No Jordan Dumais today, so the line's getting shuffled a little bit. Here's Griffin after another face-off win. Tried to find Pinelli across the neutral zone, couldn't quite connect. Back comes Renwick now for the Penguins. Renwick down the wall. Into the corner and behind the net. Forced back out left point, dragging. Potch towards the net. That one knocked down before it got to the stick there of Gardner. Pietolo with a long shot in traffic, and now a penalty's coming up here as that was cleared out. Cross-checking has been called, and based on the body language, it looks like Bishop is headed. Or perhaps not. Perhaps he was on the receiving end. Nope, it's Bishop. So it'll be another power play for the Penguins here. This time 30.2 seconds to go in the second period, so this will carry over perhaps into the start of the third. The Jackets still protecting that one-goal lead. 7 shots in the second period for Columbus. Each team has taken 5 penalties in the game. Penguins 1 for 4 on the power play. Personnel: Williams, Keskinen, Richard, Elick for Columbus. To the left of Gardner. This contested draw comes through the slot. Heaved up and over, a leaping defenseman there at the blue line for the Penguins. This one sent to Broz. Broz finds Kindle, and that high and wide to the glove side there of Gardner off the glass. Down to just 10 seconds to go in the frame. 4-man scrum in the corner. Pushed up the wall. Ryland Mosley gets there and shovels this one down the ice. And that should do it for the second period. Horn sounds, and that's it. 40 minutes in the books, 20 still to be played. But Columbus has a 3-2 lead on the Pittsburgh Penguins after 2 here at KeyBank Rink at the Lecom Harbor left. And the puck down at center. We're underway in the final frame of the final game of the Prospects Challenge for Columbus. Off that face-off win, a clearance for Charlie Elick. The penalty killers to begin the period. Williams, Mosley up front with Elick and Guillaume Richard. This will be carried by the Penguins and turned over. Here's Williams firing out of that right circle. It's a shorthanded chance that sails wide. And out to center. Columbus waiting, taking their time, and Richard makes no mistake. He'll send it 200 feet. Minute left on the penalty to Bishop. Shots 28-16 through 2 periods, with the Penguins in front there, but again Columbus up 1 on the scoreboard. And here come the Penguins. Tristan Broz, full head of steam into the offensive zone. Close to offside there. Now a penalty's coming up. It's going against Elick here. Hayes turned into the wall. They're going to call boarding. And Elick is, well, he seems unconvinced. 44 seconds left on the initial penalty to Bishop, so the 2 largest defensemen on the roster for Columbus will share the penalty box here. It'll be a 5-on-3 power play for Pittsburgh. And just a golden opportunity for them to tie this game again. 44 seconds on the 5-on-3 as the board sends Elick to the box. It'll be McDonald, Richard, and Williams, the 3 penalty killers. And Pittsburgh eager to try to get this game back to square. Avery Hayes, Calvert out there. Kindle at the blue line. Joined by Pieni Niemi and Tristan Broz on that right side. Face-off controlled by Pittsburgh. Cross to Kindle. 11th overall pick. Pieni Niemi down to the corner, gets it back. Kindle now, top the slot. Feeds it to Hayes, back to Kindle. Kindle tries to find the back door there, but Gardner all over that left post, and a good stick by Williams deflected that puck below the goal line. Back out to Kindle and across. 20 seconds left on the 5-on-3. Pieni Niemi hands it off right circle. Back to Pieni Niemi, strides in, fires, blocker save. A nice one there on the short side by Gardner. And back around to Tristan Broz. He'll flex it out to Pieni Niemi. Long rising shot, tipped on its way. Gardner got a piece of it, and it flutters wide. Final seconds Tick away on the 5-on-3. Out high, long shot wide. Gardner is down and out in the goal crease there, laying on his spine. He must have been knocked down, but he's back to his feet now, and the first penalty concludes. Bishop released. 5-on-4 for another minute, 4 seconds. Right circle, delivered in front, blocked. It came back to Broz. He fires on the second chance and scores. It's a power play goal for Tristan Broz. We've got a brand new hockey game early in the third as the Penguins make it 3-3. Well, for Broz, who scores here at 1 minute and 48 seconds of the third period in the game, that's his second point. So the goal goes along with an assist earlier today. And so the game is brand new. 18 minutes and 12 seconds left, and it's 3-3. And again, the Penguins continue to outshoot the Blue Jackets 2-1 in ratio. 31-16 right now, but a 3-3 game. Back to 5-on-5, as this will be Kiersey trying to exit the zone unsuccessfully. Comes back to Graham for the Penguins, and now this is Chromiak shoveling up the wall. Sima angles it to Oiva Keskinen. This will be tossed back out to center, and Chromiak back to gallop and retrieve behind his own net. Chased there, but his pass deflects off Klassen's stick. Tracked down by Pinelli, avoids playing it with a high stick. Play continues. Jakob Chromiak dumps it in. Around the end boards, rattles to Keskinen. Keskinen has it pop in the air. Now fed to the middle of the ice. This is Graham. Graham across the red line. Shovels it around the end boards. This is Gardner leaving for Charlie Elick. Elick patient. As we hit the 3-minute mark of the third, sends it off the stick of Hoffman. Carried by Mosley on his forehand. Down the wall, shot deflects to the corner. This will be shoveled back out to the left point. Richard lunging for it. Now it's Mosley. Fires around the end boards. Elick over for a look. Now this will be lofted out towards Griffin. Back towards Richard now. Richard weaving between the circles. Guillaume Richard wards off the opposition. Strong there, and he's able to drop it back to his partner Elick. Elick connects ahead. Hoffman touches it in deep. Tristan Broz, the goal scorer, most recent goal scorer. Outlets to Miller. Elick spoils that. Ooh, now at center, close to a high stick there. I think Atley Calvert is happy he didn't draw a penalty, just for the sheer pain of it all. Now down towards Calvert as he barrels towards the net. Puck taken away by Elick. Lofts it ahead. Broz has it knocked down. Pieni-Niemi strides in with room. He'll fire, and a bouncing puck rattles wide. Now in the corner, Broz again recovers as Hoffman gives him a shove. Miller back down low. Trying to sweep it ahead was Elick. The puck under his stick, covered by Gardner. And more mayhem at the net mouth. And something's coming out of this. Gesturing from the officials. The clock halts just 3 seconds shy of 4 minutes into the third. Wanted to make mention, we said, told you earlier that Jordan Dumais took warm-ups but then did not appear in that first period and hasn't in the game. Reporting from the Athletics' great Blue Jackets beat writer Aaron Portzline as of the second intermission there, says that his sources indicate there was a slight tweak, but nothing serious, purely precautionary to leave him out of this game. So Blue Jackets fans, don't worry. Jordan Dumais all right. Face off right side, O-zone here for Columbus. Cross-checking the indication here on the penalty to Ryan Miller. So another power play for the Jackets. It will be their 6th, and they are 1 for 5, looking for the lead. 3-3 the score, 4 minutes into the third. This puck taken away from Pinelli, but what a play. He tried to hack it off the stick there of Kindle, but then he stuck with it and is able to distribute up ice as the Blue Jackets back to set up shop in the O-zone. Round to the left point, Pinelli. This guy can do a whole bunch of different things. Down to Williams, below the goal line. Scrapes it for Keskinen. Keskinen able to be pushed into there by Kindle. Now it's Brunick on the end boards. Back comes Pinelli. Able to swivel a pass to the middle of the ice, but taken away from Williams. Carried ahead by the short-handed Penguins. This one will be chipped in front, hoping for Kindle, but taken away now by Owen Griffin for Columbus. Ahead, here's Pinelli. Patiently tracks into the offensive zone. Pulls up, feeds it here to Kiersey, and from a sharp angle goes upstairs, but a good save by Daig. Able to use that right clavicle to gather that puck in, and no rebound. As the faceoff will come to the left for the Mosley Sima Hoffman line. A little bit of grit on this line with Sima, and some offensive ability as well with he, Hoffman, and Mosley together. I like the look of this trio. You've got Elick and Richard on defense. One back to Elick. His shot blocked into the corner. Now it's shoveled back to Guillaume Richard. Elick and he switch positions. Now on their off hands. Elick, high shot blocked away. Shoveled down into the corner. Delivered by Hoffman. For a ricocheting feed Elick's direction, and now it's out to center for Richard. Quickly taps rink wide. 45 seconds left. Now Mosley hangs with it. Fire save made by Daig, and the rebound ends up in the stick of Hoffman. Another hard-working play from Rylan Mosley. Here's Elick. Right circle. That one off the blocker of Daig. Dangerous rebound given up there, but guided to the corner. 4 players battling for it. Pops loose. Hoffman centers, and a good save by Daig with his left toe. It went off his skate. Had to reach out for that left post and got there. Play continues. Richard to Elick, center point. Long shot save made by Daig. Hangs on this time, and we've got 14-16 left in this hockey game. Tied at 3. Great shift there for Columbus. Now they'll go back to their top unit here. You've got Williams this time with Oiva Keskinen and Pinelli. McDonald and Chromiak on defense. 20 shots now for Columbus. 14 seconds left in the kill for the Penguins. One back to Pinelli. Cross, Chromiak fires. Shot was blocked off shin pads, and then a good stick there. Deflects the feed. It was Sanderson getting in the way. McDonald feeds it back to Chromiak. Now Pinelli. Offhand entry. Kind of dropped it off behind him. No one was home. Miller scoops it up, and he'll dump in. The penalty's complete. So the PK now 5 for 6 in the game for Pittsburgh. Pass McDonald, but he'll still nudge it into the offensive zone. Played back at center. Penguins attacking. Klassen breaks for the net. The pass out of his reach. Keskinen was back checking there. It was Edwards trying to find him. Unsuccessfully so. Out to the point. Heave down the wall. Slow to get up here is Williams. And he will make his way towards the Columbus bench. Hopefully he's all right. Puck goes out of play. 13:29 left in the game. Still a 3-3 score. Peddle, Van Gorp, and Avery out there now. And somebody lost a net guard, so that's been delivered to the bench. Top pair on defense, Elick and Richard. As Gardner watches from the right side of his crease. Thrown back into the corner after a Pittsburgh face-off win. Cycled and carried up the wall again. Pianiemi wants it left point. Klassen fires, and through a crowd, it's snared by Gardner. Reaches out to squeeze that one. Some light conversation post-whistle. So 30 saves now in the game for Gardner. Another draw going to come to his, well, this time to his left, I suppose. Changes for Pittsburgh. Klassen going to take the draw. Lotch waiting at the center point. Pushed his way. He'll wait and fire. Knocked down in the slot. Fought for in front of Gardner as he sprawls to his left. Stuffed along the ice, but the whistle goes. He's got it, and he covers. As not much of an angle there to work with, and not much time to operate either for the Penguin forward at the net front. But a good save by Gardner. Strong to his left post again. Draw in the same spot. He'll head to the northwest corner of his crease. Griffin comes on to relieve Van Gorp here. Take this face-off. Drops down. Draw pushed by Pittsburgh, rink wide. Forced into the corner. Closing in on Travis Hayes there was Elick. Puck loose to Guillaume Richard. Tries to connect with Elick. Just out of his sizable reach, and now ahead, this is Peddle. Tyler Peddle, one of 2 Peddles in the game, behind the net. Up the wall for Avery Hayes, and at center, the Penguins drop off and attack. Ducking the shoulder is Travis Hayes. 2 Hayes on the roster, 2 Hayes on this forward line for Pittsburgh. Up the right side, this is Richard, heaving it up in the air. Knocked down before Avery could grab it. Lach sends it back to his partner. This one offered up ice by Brunick. Now Kindle couldn't corral that puck, slid back his way at center. Up ahead now, attacking are the Penguins. Backhand chance, save made by Gardner, but on the rebound, they score. It was Atley Calvert refusing to quit on that play. From a sharp angle, he stays with it and gives Pittsburgh at long last their first lead of the game. With 12 minutes left, it's 4-3. It's 2-0. It was 3-2. It's now 4-3 Pittsburgh. So they come all the way back here with a goal at 7 minutes, 51 seconds here from Atley Calvert. Split last year between Wilkes-Barre Scranton in the AHL and the Wheeling Nailers down in the coast. And under AHL contract for this season. So a lead for the Pens. It's 4-3 Pittsburgh. 12 minutes left. Columbus looking to get things headed back momentum-wise in their direction. Off the draw, Sima barrels ahead down the left wing wall. Pulled away there from Keskinen, who's sweeping for it. Handed off to Mosley. Keskinen back to the blue line. Kiersey down the wall. Keskinen, left dot, turns against the dasher. Slides it back to the line. Long shot through traffic, tipped off a stick wide. Able to be picked up by the Penguins. Lobbed out through center. Miller racing. That could have been a hook there. The stick a little parallel on Chromiak as those two cancel in the corner. And pinned up along the wall. This will be forced. Well, still being battled for. Forced against the grain. Pinelli able to pry it ahead. Williams after it there, challenging Brunick, but it's Braden Edwards with it. Cross to Harrison Brunick. Spins away from Pinelli. Couldn't get away, though, from Williams as his defense partner takes over. This is Pianiniemi, left circle. He'll shoot off the glove of Gardner. The right side, it's Brunick. To the line now, Sanderson. Pivoting to his left. To Edwards, sweeps it towards the net. Off his skate. Back to Pianiniemi at the line. Long shot wide. Heavily off the end wall and grabbed by Kiersey. And throw it high in the air. Skips through center. Penguins Pianiniemi recovers in his own zone. Scalded towards Renwick, knocked down. Sanderson kicks ahead. This one up the right side. Williams forces forward. To the right there, it's Daig, the goaltender for Pittsburgh, leaving it for his defense tandem. Sanderson to center. Up in front of the Columbus bench. It'll be swiveled in deep by Klassen. We're halfway through the third period, just about. 10-12 left in regulation here with the Jackets now trailing for the first time, 4-3. After the goal by Atley Calvert. In the offensive zone, Columbus trying to spend some time in the Penguins' end of things. Won't happen here. Well, maybe. Held in left point by McDonald, sent around the wall. Off the glass and down, would have been icing, but 2 Penguins arrive first as Gardner sweeps it up the left wing side. Barreling ahead was McDonald. Now it's swept on net for a pad save by Gardner. And Elick up the wall for Van Gorp. Slides it to the middle, hoping for Griffin. Deflects back Van Gorp's way. Shovels it towards his left winger there. That was Peddle. Now it's dumped in as the Jackets change all 5. Graham into the O zone. Drops off. Here's Chase Pietila. Pulls up in the corner. Richard watches him. Pietila centers. Out to Kindle at the line. Right circle. Pietila had it poked away. Towards the net, little backhand sweeper just wide. Good opportunity there as Gardner watched it breeze past his blocker side, courtesy of Kindle. Out at center, here's Kindle again. Tries to step past Richard, no dice. Taken away by Sima. Up ahead was Mosley lunging for it, but it's Travis Hayes now inside the line. Offside entry, however. That'll stop the clock. 8:53 left in this third period. Again, a reminder of the Blue Jackets preseason schedule gets underway a week from today on the 21st, home for St. Louis at 5 p.m. Then 4 straight days with games. Home for Buffalo on the 22nd, at the Sabres on the 23rd, home for Pittsburgh on the 24th, a couple of days off, then Saturday the 27th of September in Pittsburgh, then a couple with Washington, first in Columbus on the 30th, and then the 4th of October in D.C., all leading up to the home opener, or rather the regular season opener, I beg your pardon, on the road in Nashville. And that is Thursday, October the 9th at 8 p.m. Cross ice, this is Lotch towards the net. Calvert deflected one wide, now it's Pinelli. 8.5 minutes left in the third period. Finds Williams, burst of speed. Williams, good look. Save made, the rebound stopped, and sprawling is Daig, and Keskinen has drawn a penalty as he's slow to get up. Grabbing his mouth here, might have absorbed a high stick there. Daig with a great sequence of saves there. And now a power play for the Blue Jackets, as high sticking indeed has been called. And the Jackets will have a great chance now to tie this game, as that was Gabriel Daig with a really great sequence towards his left post there as things broke down. Columbus, a lot of daylight to work with, couldn't quite squeak one home. They'll have a chance with the extra man to do that now. So Daniel Lotch, a Wisconsin native, the one-time Badger, a teammate of Ryland Mosley's at Wisco last year. He's in the box for the high stick. Huge power play. Down 4-3, a chance to tie, and the Jackets win the faceoff. Here's Richard, center blue, down the wall for Mosley. Shakes it back to Guillaume Richard. Up the board, Sima strides into possession now. Against the wall, Keskinen out to the right point. This is Richard. Swivels it back to Mosley. Oh, high hit there as Mosley went down to a knee, but he pops right back up. Elick behind the net. Mosley locates it right corner. Tries to slide it to Sima. Behind the net, this is Hoffman. Hoffman to Elick. Off his stick. Rolls out to center. Taken away from him by Avery Hayes. Turning towards the net, short-handed. Gardner with the poke check. And Hayes gets a face full of dasher board there for his trouble. Still ahead with 1:11 left in the power play. Columbus gains the offensive blue line. Barreling down in that circle, the puck taken away again, and guess who? It's Avery Hayes. Finds the puck, finds the red line, gets it deep. 1 minute left in the power play for the Jackets, with a 4-3 deficit after leading essentially the entire game. Richard hands off to Williams. Hands off to Griffin now after gaining the line does Williams. Keskinen to the blue line, Kiersey. Got it to his left. They wanted to find Keskinen base that right circle, but the puck deflects away. Keskinen on the wall. Kiersey at the blue line. Moves it to Pinelli. Back to Kiersey. One-timer, just wide left. And off the boards, Keskinen held it in for a beat. Kiersey recovers at center, connects with Pinelli. Turns in onside. 17 seconds left on the power play here for Columbus, trying to tie the game. In the corner, Keskinen to the line, Kiersey. Rink wide, Pinelli. Saucers back, Kiersey. Final seconds of the power play. 5 of them remain. Here's Pinelli. High shot. Keskinen had to get out of the way of that thing, and it's swatted to the wall as the penalty's over. And then chipped in front by Griffin. There was an open net for a moment with Daig overcommitted to the right, but it won't cooperate. The puck, that is, as it remains a 4-3 lead for Pittsburgh. Unsuccessful on the power play. And back to the drawing board, now just under 6 minutes to go in this game. Right on a 90% save percentage for Gardner in the game. He's given up 4 on 40 shots. 24 shots for the Jackets. 21 saves for Gabriel Daig. All the way down behind the Penguins net. This one chipped off the end boards. Pittsburgh up the left side. Skimmed forward. Out of the reach of Sharon. Back went McDonald. Now this is Tyler Peddle for Columbus. Stick breaks for Avery, and that's a penalty. Slashing going against the Penguins, so another power play coming up here for Columbus, and another golden opportunity. Well, the good news is there are several players on this roster for the Blue Jackets, as Bolton is finally released from the penalty box, that can provide instant offense. Of course, we know Luca Pinelli's done it throughout this tournament. Keskinen, highly skilled, and several other guys that know how to get to the net and manufacture a goal. So who's it going to be? Williams, joined by Pinelli. Griffin's out there. Keskinen too. Kiersey as well. So Kiersey will quarterback it alongside Pinelli at the blue line. 5:14 to go. Guilty party is Gabe Klassen for the slash. Williams on the draw. Kiersey waits for this at the right point. Off the glass and past him. He's forced to motor back to center. Kiersey has it. Leaves it for Griffin. Griffin into the offensive zone. Pinelli finds him. Behind the net now. Griffin circles the zone. To the left point. This is Kiersey across Pinelli. 5 minutes to go in regulation here. A minute and 35 seconds of that will be spent with the extra skater for Columbus. Down 4-3. Kiersey tracking his way to neutral territory. Hands off Keskinen. Moves it to his left, but sniffed out on the blue line. Another clearance comes here. This time off the blocker of Gardner. Spun around was Kindle. Jackets have it again in their own zone. Williams chips one ahead, hoping for Keskinen. Kindle took it away. Flung it on net. Gardner gloved it, let it go. Now Griffin. Wilted off his blade there at center. Came back for Williams. Turns up the wall. Gains the zone. Williams moves it to his left. No one there. 55 seconds left in the power play. Penguins feed Kindle. His offhand. Pulls between the legs. Cuts to the front. Gardner made a good save. And then this sent through the slot where Travis Hayes is going to recover and relinquish the O-zone. Turning and clearing back behind. 40 seconds left and the man up here for the Blue Jackets. Under 4 minutes left in the game. Trailing 4-3 to Pittsburgh. Richard got to the line, leaves it for Sima. Ducks through the defense. Sima cuts to his forehand. Couldn't get a shot away. Back to Elick. Atop the circles now. Sima sees this one played to Richard. One-timer, right circle for Mosley. That one handled by Daig, and the threat continues for Columbus. Here's Elick on the right point. Back now for Guillaume Richard. Fires through traffic, saved by Daig, and he finds that puck to pin it to the ice and stop time. 3:24 to go. 10 seconds left on the power play. Chances for the Jackets, but it remains a one-goal lead for the Penguins. Great urgency in getting that to the front of the net. Sima, the slick move through the defense to create a chance. Hoffman, Mosley, Sima with Elick and Richard. Defensemen on their offhands. Crunch time for Columbus. Brendan Hoffman on the draw. Controlled by Pittsburgh. This is Lach. Turns and tries to clear. Gloved down by Richard. Richard out. Hoffman swipes it towards the net. Loose to Elick, who fires and scores. Charlie Elick, as the penalty expires, makes this a brand new game again. And it's 4-4 as Columbus punches back. Now Elick, just as that penalty was concluding there, able to dial it up. Time of the goal, 16:46 of this third period. And so now a 60-minute game is just over 3 minutes long. 4-4. Good contest today. Off this face-off, back to action here with a jolt of electricity for the Blue Jackets. Jakub Kromiak through center. Finds the red line, gets it deep behind Daig, the netminder. He'll shoot it up the left side. Pieni Niemi for the Penguins. Out to center, rink wide for Graham. Steps into the zone, gets it to Klassen. His shot wide. Comes back out to the right point. Swiped that by Brunick. Enough to hold the zone, didn't get it deep. Now it's sent behind the Columbus goal line. 2:40 left in regulation here, tied at 4. Massive goal for Charlie Elick. Bounced off the glass and deep by Avery. But the Jackets completing a line change here, so time and space for the Penguins, who stormed through center in the form of Pieni Niemi. Behind the net of Gardner. Leaves it for McDonald. Up the right side, Pinelli. Grabs it against the wall. Taken away from him. Sloughed back to Elick, the man of the moment for the Blue Jackets. Up the wall, Pinelli. Chips it into the air. Griffin will control. Wanted to enter onside. He and Keskinen got their wires crossed. Puck taken away by Pittsburgh. Kindle with 2 minutes left to the slot. One shot sails wide on Gardner. Back comes Elick now, fanned on the pass forward. Kicked away as Avery Hayes tried to connect with Pietla at the line. It's Keskinen now, relieving pressure, finding Elick. Elick back through his own slot to Richard. Richard to center. Williams finds Pinelli. On his offhand, storms down the right wing wall. Stops up in the right corner. Works back to his forehand, stripped the possession. He was unhappy there. Felt like he was shoved on his way towards the bench. Now the puck taken away. This is Williams, swatted down deep. Minute 23 left in regulation, tied at 4. Kiersey right point. And this one knocked away by Pieni-Niemi before Williams could locate it. Comes back now, Pieni-Niemi. Rink wide. Carried patiently here by Tristan Broz. We've got 1 minute left in the third. Even score. Here comes Ryland Mosley now. Forehand entry. Clips deep, chases after it. On the end wall, it's Pietla. Scooping for Pittsburgh. Off the boards to center, it's Kiersey. Floats one forward. Knocked down Pietla. Gets it deep and muscles it behind Gardner, where Kiersey's going to recover it. 40 seconds left in the third period. Ahead to Hoffman. Hoffman to his right. McDonald joining the rush. Pushed away from him and back to the Cleveland zone. Elick's got to hurry. Gets there along the wall. 30 seconds left in the third. Up the boards for Hoffman. Hoffman pounds one. Up ahead. And out to center. This is Petal. Not Tyler, but his brother Brady. And now in front, a chance for Sanderson, rattling through the slot with 15 seconds left. The Jackets are able to push it out to the neutral zone. Here's Sanderson for Pittsburgh. 5 seconds left. Looks like that will do it for regulation as the horn sounds. And an exciting game has been back and forth as the Penguins and the Blue Jackets are headed for overtime with Columbus, thanks to a Charlie Elick goal in the dying minutes of the game, able to force the extra session. So the shots after 60 minutes of play, 43 for the Penguins to 27 for the Blue Jackets. So Gardner with 39 saves in the game. And Columbus now a chance to start fresh here in pursuit of the next goal, which will decide this contest. And, you know, you talk to Trent Vogelhuber throughout the week, and I ask him, you know, you guys want to win, but this is about getting guys ready for camp. But he will readily admit that everybody's competitive. You want to win. You want to feel good about yourselves. There's a long bus ride back to Columbus, and you want to enjoy it as best you can, relishing a victory. And so while these, you know, quote-unquote points are irrelevant completely for these players, it helps to feel good about yourselves and have a confident sort of finish to an event like this. And so, a lot of meat left on the bone here as we head for overtime. 4-4 between the Jackets and Penguins. Team swap ends. So it'll be Gardner headed back in net to my right, and Daig in net to my left. We'll see who gets the tap first here for Trent Vogelhuber in Columbus. It's going to be Mosley, Williams, and Kiersey. A lot of confidence placed by associate coach Chris Bergeron and Marcus Kiersey in this game. Out there now to start OT. Again, right to left in their Union blue uniforms are the Blue Jackets. In white from left to right, the Penguins. They'll start with Brunick, joined by Atley Calvert and Tristan Broz. It's 3 Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins right there. And with the game square at 4 through 60 minutes, we play on. So Williams v. Broz on the draw. 5-minute, 3-on-3 overtime. Tied at 4. Puck down, underway in OT. Here's Mosley, motoring back behind the net in his own zone. Forced up to Brunick. Brunick galloping ahead, chased there by Williams. Brunick now has Broz in front, but he's going to fire in this one wide. Sharply so, and picked up by Mosley. Out to center for Williams. Pulls up shy of the blue line. Puck taken away, Tristan Broz. Offhand entry. Tries to duck around Williams. Swivels, fires, and a good save by Gardner. Picked up now by Mosley. Back behind his own net. He'll leave it as the Penguins make changes. Williams heads for a line change of his own. Kiersey buying some time. Pinelli and Keskinen are out there now for Columbus. Here's Luca Pinelli. Darting ahead, weaving to his left. Hits the blue line. Pinelli. Arguably the best player for Columbus in this tournament. Off to Richard. Guillaume Richard down the slot. Maintains possession. Hands off to Pinelli. Pinelli, backhander. Floats that one off the goalpost there. And up ahead, it's Richard taking one away from Kindle at neutral territory. Pinelli ahead. Great feed to Richard. Swipes it on, but Daig the pad save. And now Keskinen, the last man back, is Avery Hayes. Can't get to that puck. Huge play by Keskinen as Pinelli now tracks inside the offensive zone. In the slot on his backhand. Turns and fires, and Pinelli sends it wide. Here's Elick now, fresh from the bench to challenge Avery Hayes. Kindle takes over. Jackets now have Sima on the ice with Charlie Elick, who forced OT with that late goal, and Owen Griffin as well. Got 3:15 left in OT, tied at 4. Carried ahead by the Penguins. This will be carried by Clausen right down Main Street there, but he lost control before he could fire a shot. Here's Owen Griffin. That's a power play goal in the game. Griffin delivers. Sima backhander. He scores! Sima started the scoring, and he finishes the victory. An OT win by a final of 5-4 for the Columbus Blue Jackets, and it's Nick Sima with the decisive score 2 minutes into overtime. Your final from Buffalo, Columbus 5 and the Penguins 4, as the Blue Jackets finish the Prospects Challenge this year with a 2-1 record and an OT win that was dramatic, to say the least.